Hey guys, it's Meg. What's up? What's poppin'? Welcome to the podcast. Every month spreads awareness about multiple things. July is Disability Pride Month, National Ice Cream Month, and National Fragile Times Awareness Month, to name a few. But it's also World Watercolor Month, and that's the one we're going to deep dive and talk into. Before we jump into this podcast and talk about what July month is and everything about that, I can't believe I forgot to mention this in last week's podcast episode, but I have officially reached 20,000 downloads. Thank you guys so much for listening and supporting me in this journey of podcasting. I appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to follow the podcast on whatever platform it's on that you listen to it on. And on Instagram at @HeyGuysIt'sMeg_podcast. That's a little plug. But yeah, I've officially hit 20K and it's crazy. It doesn't even feel real. Source number one I have is nationaldaycalendar.com. And it was saying that World Watercolor Month is annually observed in July. It's used to celebrate art and creativity through the use of watercolors. It encourages all people, no matter their skill level, to paint with watercolor to raise awareness about the importance of art and creativity everywhere. And it was saying, how can we observe this? And it gave a lot. They're all right. I feel like in the past when we've done these episodes, and by in the past, I think we've only done this once. I think we did one in May. So I think twice we've done this. They gave better observation things. This one was just asking for money. It said, support charitable art organizations near you. Donate watercolor supplies. Volunteer to teach art classes both virtual and in person. Support art education and artists in your area and the world. Host an auction, fundraiser, or another event to keep your local kids painting and creating. Or share your favorite watercolors. I was going to say that's all I took from this website, but it very much isn't. I continued on. Then it gave the history of how this holiday celebration started. It started with Charlie O'Shield, who's the creator of Doodle Wash. I forgot to look that up. We're going to do that in 1 second. He is the founder of this World Watercolor Month. His love of art led to the creation of a blog and a social artist movement that is dedicated to promote and connect watercolor artists all over the world. The Register, a National Day calendar, proclaimed World Watercolor Month, this is a tongue twister, to be observed annually beginning in 2016, which makes this year the 10th anniversary, which is perfect to be talking about this. You can use hashtag World Watercolor Month, or this year specifically, hashtag World Watercolor 2026 to celebrate your post on social media. There's also going to be a 31-day watercolor challenge, and guys, I am not an artist in any way, shape, or form, but do I have watercolors because they were kind of trending a couple years ago, so I bought it because people were watercoloring at the beach. Do we do the challenge? I mean, by now you would find out if I done it because this came out July 6th. And the challenge starts July 1st. But we might be doing this. There might be posts on social media, subtle plug, hey guys, it's Meg_podcast on Instagram. Or we do have a YouTube channel, so maybe I'll make a little YouTube short, and maybe I'll post it on both. It could be fun. But also, do I make videos or do I just take pictures? The videos could be fun though. I want to post more on social media. We're skirting. We're skirting because I can, because after this, I don't have much more to say, which is crazy. I keep telling myself I'm going to post more on social media. That was one of my goals for 2026. And here we are. When you're listening, it's going to be July. I'm recording at the end of June, though. But, here we are, like halfway through the month, and I have not done that said activity. But real quick, before we skirt, I meant to look up Doodle Wash, and I never did, so... He is the founder of Doodle Wash. What is Doodle Wash, though? I think Doodle Wash is his blog. Wait, that's so cute. Wait, does he teach you how to draw? Let's click on this one. Oh, yeah. Doodle Wash seems to be just like his blog. And he has a podcast. Sketching Stuff Podcast. That's so fun. Yeah, this is... Doodle Wash is his blog. You know what I thought? Yeah, it's just his blog. He started in 2015. You know what I thought Doodle Wash was? Do you guys remember? It was like a toy from like the late 90s, early 2000s. You could draw on the bears. We're looking this up right now. What the heck am I doing? Was it just called Doodle Bear? Yeah, it was called Doodle Bear. And it was basically like this bear that you could draw on with special markers, and then you would just be able to wash it off. That's what I thought he founded. I'm going to be honest. We're skirting way too much. So let's get back to the podcast. Source number 2 is watercoloracademy.com, the place of watercolor in the history of arts. Because I figured we can't do a whole episode on World Watercolors Month without talking about the history of watercolor. So let's cue some history here. Maybe we'll put some fun music as a little transition. So the origin of watercoloring is actually uncertain. Some say it's as old as art itself, going back to the Stone Age. So during the Stone Age, prehistoric people would mix earth and charcoal with water, and they would paint on cave walls. I also was saying, Neolithic. The Neolithic period. I don't know if that's before or after the Stone Age, or if that is the Stone Age, and I don't want to skirt anymore, so editing Meg. Hey, what's up? It's Editing Meg. In the Neolithic period was from 7000 to 1700 BCE, and it was also called the New Stone Age, and the Neolithic period is part of the Stone Age. The Stone Age was broken down into 4 different types / categories. Thank you for that. It was also talking that basically we're just going to deep dive into ancient civilizations right now with watercoloring. So ancient Egyptians used water-soluble transparent paint to illustrate papyrus scrolls. So they would mix earth pigments with gum arabic and egg white to do their paintings. About 2,000 years ago in China, they used watercolor on silk. Their art often had calligraphy, contemplative landscape views, animals, and everyday life painted on it. Then we're going to go to European Middle Ages, watercolor, and they said body color. I did not look it up because after last week's episode of looking up why ships are splashed in blood, I got a little scarred. But it was used by monks to, and I quote, illuminate handwritten books and manuscripts, end quote. Then there was the invention of paper. I know that's crazy to say, but paper manufacturing had spread from China to the Middle East, where they made improvements on the technology, which helped with watercolor and being able to see it more. And it was saying that you want to use white paper or light colored paper for your watercolors because it really makes it pop more. Paper's invented, right? 1,500 years later, after the invention of paper, Europe had great advances in drawing, painting, and sculpting during the Renaissance period. So they started to get really into painting. They said that European watercolors have their roots in Northern Renaissance. I'm really bad with time. I have no clue when this happened. During the Baroque period, watercolor was often the medium of choice to illustrate, specifically for naturalist books, albums, scientific publications, and for the creation of hand-painted maps and architectural plans. And it was saying on this website that a lot of this artwork that was created all these years ago is actually still pretty clear to see, I guess. Like it didn't get destroyed by old age. By the end of the 18th century in Russia, watercolor wasn't just a craft for artists, but it became a part of aristocratic education, and it was considered a must-have skill for architects, engineers, and military officers. And then because watercolor was so popular many, many years ago, many countries made watercolor societies that still exist today. They just changed their name. Then it was saying that watercolor came to America with some of the European artists. So the European artists were documenting the quote-unquote New World, and it became popular in the 19th century in America. Then it was saying on this thing, I didn't write it down, but it was saying that watercolor was going in waves where it becomes super, super popular. And then in America, it kind of declined. But when it was declining in America, it was still super popular over in Russia and over in Europe. And it just seems to be flipping back and forth between popularity. I will say, I feel like thanks to Pinterest and TikTok a couple of years ago, I think there was this resurge in watercolor because there was so many videos of people like painting on the beach and using like ocean water. And it was so fun. And then to end this episode, I thought we could talk about some famous or popular artists. So the source I found was mymodernmet.com, and it is 15 famous watercolor artists who came to influence painting today. Don't quote me if these people actually aren't that famous, okay? Don't come for me, please. This is just what this article said. The first one is Albrecht Dürer. I can't read my own handwriting. He was from 1471 to 1528. Number 2 is William Blake from 1757 to 1827. I also didn't write down any of their popular paintings. I'm so sorry. At this point in my research, I was giving up. I just wrote down their name and their dates of life. Number 3, we have J.M.W. Turner, born in 1775 from 1851. Actually, I don't even know if these are the years that they were born or if these are just the years they've been painting. Has to be their birth and death year because that's a long time to be painting, I feel like. Anyways, number 4, John James Audubon, 1785 to 1851. Elizabeth Murray from 1815 to 1882. This is a long name. You ready for this? James Abbott McNeill Whistler, 1834-1903. Thomas Moran from 1837 to 1926. Winslow Homer, 1836 to 1910. Number 9 is John Singer Sargent from 1856 to 1925. 1925. I'm stumbling. Number 10 is Paul Klee, is Klee, 1879 to 1940. Number 11 is Edward Hopper from 1882 to 1967. Number 12 is Charles Demuth, 1883 to 1935. 13 is Georgia O'Keeffe from 1887 to 1986. Number 14, Reginald Marsh from 1898 to 1954. And number 15, Andrew Wythe from 1911 to 2009. If you want to go and do your own research and deep dive on these painters to see what they created. When I did look at this website, it was giving way more information on these people, and it did show a painting or two by them, and they were really cool and they were really pretty. But before we end our episode, we are going to do an affirmation, and I only thought it was fitting to bring back one of our OG ones. So we will be using Inspired by Frida by Akal Pritam because I thought it was perfect because Frida was an artist. I don't know if she used ever watercolor. She might have. Maybe editing might come in here with that quick fun fact. According to multiple actual sources and not the Google AI, it said that she did use watercolor in some of her really early pieces, but it wasn't her preferred choice. Thank you for that. But now let's cue some ASMR shuffling that's never ASMR shuffling, but maybe one day it will be. But yeah, what do you guys think about watercolor? I actually hopped on the trend, I know, very bad of me, a couple years ago where I did buy a watercolor palette, very cheap from like Michael's, and a little watercolor book. I think it is fun. I am not an artist, but I do have fun using watercolors. And there's so many tutorials online now, and even on Pinterest. Like I watercolor painted a card for somebody because I couldn't find one I liked, and it didn't look half bad. And I do not have a single artistic bone in my body. I can barely draw a stick figure. These really don't want to fall out. Like, come on, Frida, give us something to talk about this week. We're actually almost done with the podcast, which is crazy. After this episode, there's only 3 more. They're all planned out. I'm very excited for them. And then we're going to take a little month break and we'll come back in September. What is happening? This year's like flying by. It's kind of scary. There we go. This one's flying. Ooh, that is gorgeous too. The artwork on this. All right, let's cue the drum roll, please. Wait, this is perfect. As you must serve everything you create, it's a good idea to do so with love and integrity. And that is our affirmation of the week. So maybe for this month of July, you go buy yourself some watercolors, you buy yourself some watercolor paper, and you join the challenge, or you just create for fun. And just know that every July is World Watercolor Month, and there's a lot of history behind it, and art is important for everyone. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Hey Guys, It's Meg. You can follow Hey Guys, It's Meg _podcast on Instagram for updates and good times. Come back next Monday at 9 a.m. where I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about the sunken city of Atlantis. I'll see you all on the flip side. Peace out, Girl Scouts.